Good evening, I'm Saraya Mia and you're watching AWANI Tonight. Those seeking a vocational driving license will no longer be required to sit for a theory test. Transport Minister Anthony Loke says this exemption is for those applying for vocational licenses under the Public Service Vehicle PSV and Goods Driving License GDL category.
Berkenaan dengan pemalsuan ujian teori bagi pengambilan lesen vocational iaitu PSV dan GDL, hanya perlu menduduki dan melengkapkan kelas teori sedia ada sahaja sebelum dikeluarkan lesen PSV. Ini satu perubahan yang besar, satu paradigma yang anjakan paradigma yang besar, sebab kita tekankan ialah mereka mengambil kelas tetapi tidak diujikan secara teori. Ini sesuatu yang amat baru dari segi pemikiran pelesenan kita, dan ini sesuatu yang sudah tentunya akan memberikan memudahcarakan ramai pemohon.
Loke added that theory classes syllabus for all vocational license categories, especially those involving e-hailing and taxi, would also be reviewed. The minister said the Road Transport Department and the Malaysian Institute of Road Safety Research would seek input from the industry, with an improved syllabus to be finalized in 6 months.
The amount of food wastage during the Ramadan period has increased by 21% over the past 5 years. Deputy Local Government Development Minister Akmal Nasrullah Nasir says the number is staggering and is set to increase yearly.
He said 252,521 tons of solid waste was collected during Ramadan last year, compared with 208,143 tons in 2019. Out of the total collection, close to 45% was food waste. Last month, the Solid Waste and Public Cleansing Management Corporation predicted there would be an extra 75,000 tons of food waste in Malaysia during Ramadan if nothing is done to reduce the wastage. In order to curb the problem, the agency highly encouraged bazaar traders to refrain from providing single-use plastics and for visitors to bring their own food containers and buy moderately.
The government is looking at empowering local authorities to expedite the process of development order approval. Economy Minister Rafizi Ramli said efficiency is key when it comes to increasing competitiveness among local councils.
Perhaps it's time for us to link the consideration for development expenditure and resource allocation from the federal government must take into account as well administrative efficiency and their success in reducing red tapes at their level. And we hope this will be able to create the necessary competition to lift up as many local authorities as possible, and then we will have a more widespread efficiency in services being offered by our local authorities, especially with respect to development order.
In other news, former Perlis Menteri Besar Datuk Sri Azlan Man claimed trial at the Sessions Court to 5 counts of charges for submitting false travel claims worth 1.185 million ringgit. The claims were made for his trip to the UK between 2013 and 2017. According to the charge sheet, they were made despite there being no actual travel.
Azlan was charged with committing these offences in his capacity as the Menteri Besar. All the charges were framed under Section 18 of the MACC Act 2009 for submitting or certifying a document containing false details. The offences are punishable under Section 24(2) of the same Act, which carries a jail term of up to 20 years and a fine not less than 5 times the amount of the false claims. Azlan was granted bail of 50,000 ringgit in one surety and was ordered to surrender his passport to the court pending the disposal of the case. The court fixed May 12 for next mention. The former Perlis UMNO chief was Pauh Assembly person from 2013 to 2018, before winning the Bintong State seat in 2018, though he failed to retain the seat in the 15th general election last year. He was Perlis's 9th Menteri Besar from 2013 to 2022.
We'll be back after the break. Stay tuned.
Kita mana? Bau badan? Kumanlah puncanya. Gunakan mandian badan Lifebuoy Coconut dan Cool Fresh. Ia memberikan 12 jam kesegaran dan melindungi daripada kuman punca bau badan. Lifebuoy Coconut dan Cool Fresh.
Perlukan penyelesaian semalaman untuk kulit cantik? Baharu, Vaseline Glutathione Overnight Radiance Repair dengan kepekatan 10 masker muka. Bangun pagi dengan kulit terhidrat, berseri dan anjal. Vaseline Baharu.
PPIM menggesa kerajaan untuk melaksanakan usaha menyelesaikan isu keberengkapan secara menyeluruh.
Yang bertanya ni banyak ni yang akan jadi serbuan di Jabatan Insolvensi.
Tindakan itu perlu dilihat secara menyeluruh termasuk kedudukan ekonomi dan hutang negara.
Apa dia problem kita? Hutang 1.5 trilion. Jadi sabarlah sekejap.
Keyakinan pelabur luar terhadap Malaysia dilihat semakin meningkat.
Isu kebajikan rakyat itu perlu diberi perhatian.
Welcome back. Newly appointed chairperson of the Public Accounts Committee PAC, Datuk Mas Ermiati Samsudin, and her deputy, Wong Shu Ki, have called for the committee's proceedings to be made open to the public. Political scientist Professor Wong Chin Huat assesses the move and if it will lead to better check and balance in the government.
This is important for two reasons. First, the public knows what happened in the process. Then when we talk about public account committees, just like any other committee, the process should be known to the public so that there would not be, any information being concealed. But secondly, it's also important that we provide the right incentive for members of parliament to be active on this committee. Because in the past, we have always had some MPs who are very hardworking on policy matters, but because their efforts do not result in immediate outcome that they can openly claim credit for, there's only one catch in this announcement. The committee, the PAC, has only the chair and the deputy chair. It needs to fill up normally another 12 more members, minimum 6 more. The selection committee, which appoints members to the PAC and other committee, they should meet while the parliament is in recess from now until 22nd of May, and as soon as possible, to fill up the remaining membership of this PAC. Otherwise, which means that the PAC cannot have a meeting for nearly 2 months.
Besides open proceedings, Chin Huat proposed further reforms to strengthen the PAC.
Every committee should have their individual web page in the parliament website. So then we can know exactly what happened and so on, and all their proceedings should be uploaded. Now, secondly, that like just what we propose for PAC, all this committee, their meetings should be live. So that's by default should be live and only in private for exceptions. And next step is to be flexible on the place where you're going to have the meeting. The Parliament House will be by default the location, but this should be so flexible that you could actually have meeting anywhere, including online, because that would allow the committees to meet more.
On the international front, China's military carried out aerial and naval blockade drills around Taiwan earlier today, in its last scheduled day of exercises. Taiwan reported another surge of warplanes near the island, while Beijing says its Shandong aircraft carrier had taken part in combat patrols.
According to the Chinese military, fighter planes loaded with live ammunition had carried out multiple waves of simulated strikes on what it called important targets. Taiwan's defense ministry said it spotted another 70 warplanes and 11 ships in its surrounding waters as of Monday afternoon. China began the exercises on Saturday after Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen met with U.S. House of Representatives Speaker Kevin McCarthy. The drills, however, have not been as big as those that followed McCarthy's predecessor, Nancy Pelosi's visit to Taipei last August. China views Taiwan as its own territory and has not ruled out the use of force to bring the island under Beijing's control, but Taiwan considers itself a sovereign state and has denounced the drills.
Over in France, 2 bodies were found in the rubble of a building that collapsed in Marseille following a major explosion. On Monday, rescue workers scrambled to find at least 6 people still unaccounted for. The 2 bodies were retrieved about 24 hours after the blast that brought down a 4-story building in the Mediterranean port city. Emergency workers continued rescue operations until early Monday, but a persistent fire under the rubble hampered rescue work, making it difficult to deploy sniffer dogs. The cause of the explosion has yet to be determined. Investigators are looking at the possibility it was a result of a gas leak. More than 100 firefighters were battling the blaze in the ruins of the building. Meanwhile, in southeastern France, at least 5 people have died and 1 person still missing following an avalanche in the French Alps. Rescue works resumed on Monday to search for more casualties at the glacier near Mont Blanc. Officials said the 2 dead were local tour guides. The avalanche had also engulfed 15 others, with several of those injured taken to the hospital. Authorities said those caught up in it were backcountry skiing in the mountains, while they were still confirming the identity of the victims. The avalanche was caused by a slab of snow detaching from the top of the mountain. It was extensive and covered an area of 1,000 meters by 500 meters. Emergency responders deployed a helicopter and mountain rescue dogs to the scene, although the prefecture warned that a further avalanche could not be ruled out. Meanwhile, 2 separate tornadoes struck parts of New Zealand just 2 months after the wider region was devastated by Cyclone Gabrielle. It also comes 3 months after Auckland, the country's biggest city, was struck by deadly flooding that killed 4 people.
Suburbs in East Auckland were struck on Sunday night, damaging roofs and taking down trees. Authorities said they received around 50 calls for assistance. On Monday, another tornado tore through the Tasman district and damaged 50 properties. No injuries have been reported so far from either tornado. New Zealand was also hit by more than 14,000 lightning strikes within the span of 12 hours, with more heavy rain and thunderstorms forecasted for the South Island. Climate change is causing episodes of heavy rainfall to become more frequent and intense in the country, though the impact still varies according to region.
The Dalai Lama has apologized after footage of him kissing a boy at a public event in India sparked widespread criticism on social media. His office says he wishes to apologize to the child and family for the hurt his actions may have caused. A statement from the Dalai Lama's office said he often teases the people he meets innocently, adding that the Dalai Lama regretted the incident. The video, which has gone viral, showed the Dalai Lama kissing the boy as he leaned in to pay his respects. The boy had initially asked the spiritual leader if he could give him a hug. The Buddhist monk was then seen sticking his tongue as he asked the child to suck it. The Dalai Lama has been living in exile in India since fleeing Tibet in 1959 following an uprising against Chinese rule there. He has faced controversies in the past. In 2019, the Dalai Lama's office apologized after suggesting that any future female Dalai Lama should be attractive. That's all we have for you on AWANI tonight. Thanks for watching. I'm Saraya Mia, and we'll see you again.